This is a review for the Danby DDR050BJWDB and the DDR050BJPWDB. These two models are virtually identical, except for the fact that the model with the P in the model name there, the built-in pump model, it comes with a built-in pump. But otherwise, the two models are very similar. They are in identical housings, many similarities there in terms of features and functionality, in terms of overall design. So this review applies to both models there. So let's jump right into what we like and dislike about these particular Danby units. In terms of what we like, the first thing that we like about these units is the fact that they do provide 50 pints per day of moisture removal. Now, compressor-based humidifiers come in various sizes, all the way from 20 pints per day, all the way up to 50 pints per day, like this unit we have on the table here today. So there is quite a bit of variance there in terms of overall output, in terms of overall moisture removal per day. For the fact that these units come with 50 pints per day, that is at the upper end of the range, and that is a substantial amount of moisture removal per day. That higher rate of moisture removal is going to allow these units to dehumidify much faster than smaller units. That high moisture removal rate is also going to allow these units to be used in larger rooms versus smaller rooms. And that's also going to allow these units to be used for applications where the humidity problem is quite severe. With lower capacity units, it's virtually impossible to use those units. They're not going to get anywhere in a very severe humidity situation. With these high capacity units, they can very much be used in a severe humidity situation, and they can be quite effective. We also like the fact that these Danby units are ENERGY STAR certified. Now, not all 50 pint models on the market are ENERGY STAR certified. There are quite a few models that do not have that certification, that are not up to par in terms of the energy efficiency that you get with these Danby units. So for the fact that they are ENERGY STAR certified, that is another positive for them. The third thing that we like about these units really only applies to the built-in pump model. The built-in pump version does come with a gravity drainage hose, and it does come with a pump hose, and of course it offers that built-in pump functionality. So the built-in pump model is very good for applications where you are likely to use some type of drainage, whether it's pump drainage or gravity drainage. That included hose is a full 2 meters long. Most other gravity drain hoses, if they are included at all, they're only about 1 meter long. So for the fact that the included gravity drain hose here is double the length, that is definitely a strong positive here. The built-in pump functionality there is definitely a positive as well, at least in terms of overall drainage functionality there. So definitely strong positives here, especially for the built-in pump model. The non-built-in pump model is not going to come with that gravity drain hose. It's also not going to come with the pump functionality there, of course. So in that way, the non-built-in pump model offers very similar drainage functionality to most other 50 pint models on the market. So for the built-in pump model, very strong marks here. For the non-built-in model, it's pretty average compared to other models in terms of drainage options. We also like the fact that these units do come with a 2-year warranty. Now, most units on the market, most compressor-based humidifiers come with only a 1-year warranty. That tends to be the industry standard there, is that the warranty, the included warranty is only for 1 year. So for the fact that these units do come with a 2-year warranty, that is definitely a strong positive here. However, do keep in mind that the Danby warranty that is included here is a carry-in warranty. And what that means is that if some type of service is required, you're going to have to take the unit into an authorized service center. And that may not be very close to you, if close at all. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, that even though the warranty length here is longer than it is for many other models on the market, definitely keep in mind that it is a carry-in warranty that is involved here. So definitely read carefully the included warranty here, if that is important to you, just to make sure that the terms there are going to work for you, and maybe even look up to just make sure that there is a service center close to you if you do need to use the warranty for this unit. So in terms of negatives for this unit, by far the biggest negative here is the small bucket on the front of these units. Moisture collects in the bucket that is towards the front and the bottom of the unit here. And depending on the size of that bucket, it's going to require you to empty the bucket more or less frequently. If the unit has a large bucket, you're going to have to empty that bucket much less frequently than you would need to empty a smaller bucket like the one on these Danby units. The capacity here is 12.6 pints for these Danby units for their buckets. Larger capacity buckets can get all the way up to 16.9 pints in terms of capacity there. So if you are not using gravity drainage with these units, if you are not using the pump model's built-in pump and draining it through that pump drainage, definitely keep that in mind, that the small bucket here is definitely a negative for these units. Another smaller negative is the fact that the built-in pump model is quite heavy. It's 46.1 pounds in terms of its overall weight. The non-built-in pump model is about average weight. But definitely keep that in mind that with that built-in pump, you are adding a bit of weight to the unit. And even with a non-built-in pump model, it's by no means the lightest unit that we tested. Finally, another negative here is really just more of a comment on a mediocre quality to these units, and that's the build quality here. These units do offer just average build quality compared to most of the units that we tested. Now, we did test quite a few models that definitely had a lower build quality than average. So those units, there's a real negative there. There's a real issue there in terms of overall durability and long-term reliability with those units. There's definitely a cause for concern there with those units that have below average build quality. With these Danby units, it's really an average build quality there. So it's not necessarily a big negative, but it's also not a positive. So we do want to mention it here that you are only looking at average build quality here in terms of our own observations testing these units with the Danby units. Another concern here that we should mention is that with the built-in pump model, you do have that internal pump. So on top of that built-in pump adding weight to the model, it does lower the long-term reliability of the model quite substantially. Early pump failure is just par for the course really for most built-in pump dehumidifiers. If you were to read consumer reviews for any built-in pump model that's been on the market for a few years, you're sure to see many reports of early pump failure. It's just a thing that happens with built-in pump models. So definitely be aware, if you do go with the built-in pump version of this particular dehumidifier, definitely be aware that there is a reliability issue there in terms of long-term pump functionality. Now, if the pump fails, you can still use the dehumidifier. You can still drain it using gravity. You can still have moisture collect in its bucket. So the dehumidifier isn't useless when the pump fails, but definitely be aware that pump failure is definitely a concern here, even with Danby units in terms of long-term reliability there. And that brings us to our general recommendations for these Danby units. Now, these Danby units are good dehumidifiers. They do what they need to do well. They remove up to 50 pints of moisture per day. They're Energy Star certified. These units do come with a 2-year warranty. These are all good positives for these units. However, these Danby units are not the best units that we tested. We did test units that have larger buckets. We did test units that were quieter. We did test units that were built better. So there are better options out there. So the Danby unit's not a bad purchase by any means. You should be very happy with your purchase if you do purchase it, because you're not going to compare it side by side with the best options. You're going to get this unit and you'll be content with it. You'll be happy with it. However, for us, testing these units side by side and seeing how they compare directly with each other, there are definitely better options out there, and we will have links to those better options in the description to this video.